Welcome back. This is still Good Morning Namibia. Now, it is apparent that any developmental agenda that does not integrate the private sector ignores a crucial partner in improving conditions for its citizens, in particular sustainable human development and inclusive market development. This set precedents in the formation of the Sustainable Development Goals Private Sector Alliance, which seeks to engage, build trust, exchange know-how and technologies, strengthen relationships, bring synergy and coherence between UN Namibia and the private sector to accelerate the Sustainable Development Goals. Errolice Tjipura, the Partnership and Finance Advisor at the United Nations Namibia's office, joins us now via Skype to give more insight on the proficiencies of the Alliance. Good morning, Ms. Tjipura. Thank you very much for taking time to speak to us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, ma'am. Now, firstly, please explain to us what the Sustainable Development Goals are.
Well, the Sustainable Development Goals, in short, the SDGs, were adopted by the United Nations and world leaders way back in 2015. They are a universal call to end poverty, to protect the planet, and also to ensure that by 2030, everybody enjoys peace and prosperity. We have 17 SDGs. They are very bold. And they really call for everybody to work together in order for us to achieve them by 2030. This includes the government, the private sector, academia, civil society, and even ordinary citizens like you and I. How citizens like you and I can get involved is by doing simple things like walking instead of driving or choosing to recycle your products, etc. So at the end of the day, they are relevant to Namibia because they're incorporated into all of our national development plans. And it's really our collective responsibility to ensure that we achieve them.
Now, please explain to us the aim of the establishment of the SDGs Private Sector Alliance.
Well, the private sector is a very important actor in development, and therefore they are a critical partner in us achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. However, despite that, we've realized that we don't have a fixed entry point between the UN and the private sector where they can work together to help come up with some of the pressing solutions for development challenges in the country. And that's how the SDGs Private Sector Alliance was born. We want to create that entry point, and we also hope that through the alliance we can increase convergence between the goals of business and those of development. And also, through the alliance, we are going to engage with each other. We are going to build trust and exchange know-how, but importantly, we want to exploit the respective synergies that the private sector brings and that the UN brings in order for us to have greater impact at the end of the day.
For those watching this morning and would like to understand, please explain to us why exactly businesses should join the SDGs Private Sector Alliance.
Well, as I said earlier on, development is our collective responsibility. And if the private sector joins the SDGs Private Sector Alliance and works hand in hand with the UN brings critical value addition to the table. We have a reputation as a trusted convener. We can convene businesses from different sectors to discuss development challenges and solutions. Also, should the need arise, we can also convene other stakeholders such as government ministries, civil society, academia, to sit together with the business world and discuss solutions to our development challenges. The UN also gives the private sector access to our vast knowledge across the world. Currently, in the country, we have about 10 specialized UN agencies, and we also have access to other regional and international specialized UN agencies whose knowledge the private sector collectively can tap into. The UN is also fit for purpose. I think through the COVID pandemic, we have demonstrated how fit for purpose the UN is, seeing how WHO has been, as one of the specialized agencies of the UN, has been at the forefront of the pandemic. of course, supported by all the other agencies in the background. And also, we can offer joint funding for projects that are in line with the SDGs. So at the end of the day, we really want 1 + 1 to give you 4 instead of 2 through exploiting our respective synergies. For example, if you have 3 companies that are working in silos individually, but they're all working on sanitation, you can only reach, just as an example, 10 households. But if you combine these resources and you avoid duplication of efforts, you can reach 100 households. So we really want to, as far as possible, exploit our synergies, and 1 + 1 at the end of the day, we wanted to give us 4 instead of 2.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Now, how can the private entities be part of the SDGs Private Sector Alliance?
Well, the initiative is open to all businesses whose values align to the ideals of the UN. For those businesses, they can reach out to the UN through the Office of the Resident Coordinator. We are also encouraging businesses that have corporate social investment activities or initiatives that are in line with the SDGs to reach out to us, because we believe that the Alliance can have greater impact through pooled resources, as I mentioned earlier on about the synergies. And lastly, for those businesses whose values are not yet aligned to the SDGs, but are interested in learning how to go about it, they can also join the Alliance for us to provide the necessary support.
Is there a relationship between the Alliance, perhaps, or the UN and the government? And can you explain to us that relationship?
Well, the UN has always been working very closely with the government. As a starter, the SDGs are embedded in all the national development plans. And also currently the UN's strategic plan has been co-developed in partnership with the National Planning Commission. So at the end of the day, whatever achievements this SDGs Private Sector Alliance gets will directly contribute to the national development goals.
Ma'am, what are your concluding remarks?
I want to emphasize that we have 8 years left to achieve Vision 2030 and the SDGs, which is not a lot of time. And in order for us to achieve that, we really need all hands on deck. We need everybody to get involved. And I think that the SDGs Private Sector Alliance is a great step in the right direction.
All right. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us, Madam Tjipura.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that was Errolice Tjipura from the United Nations Namibia, and she is responsible for partnership, or she is the advisor for partnership and finance there.